What's going on YouTube? So today we're going to go a little further in depth in regards to Aperture and what it does and the effects of adjusting it to give you an idea as to the different things it actually does as a function with photography. On one hand, it increases or decreases how much of the photo will be in focus, but it also controls the amount of light that's actually reaching the sensor. So there's a couple things that you actually have to pay attention to in regards to the aperture on a camera. It can get confusing. Hopefully this demonstration will shed some light on that. No pun intended. Light. Get it? Shed some light. Anyhow, alright, so we'll just get right to it. I'm trying to keep this as a quick video just to show exactly what it does, and hopefully it'll help. So here I'm just showing the back of my screen, just so that you can see the only thing that I changed was the aperture, which is the F number in the center at the bottom of the screen. And you'll notice as the numbers increase, the depth of field, or how far into the photo you can actually keep in focus, increases, and the amount of light decreases because the iris is actually closing. So I just wanted to show you that I did not change any other settings. Everything else is exactly the same. We'll get into the exposure triangle some other time because that's a whole other video. Anyhow, now to show you the images and explain what everything is doing. Alright, so what you see here, I just threw a bunch of movie DVD cases up on a table. I'm going to use that to show the depth of field in regards to changing the aperture on the camera. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 videos on there, spaced apart at a decent rate, so you should be able to see the effects as the numbers increase and the iris of the lens actually closes, just like your eyeball. You'll notice that the photos become darker and darker. However, you will also be able to see further and further into the photo with better clarity. So here we go. So here at f1.8 you can see the very front movie cover is in focus, and the one immediately behind it is starting to already get a little too blurry to read. Everything after that is completely and utterly blurred out. You can't make out anything. And the couch cushion, you can't even make that out either. Now, with that said, this is a little overexposed, so it's got a little, it appears to be a little out of focus, but it's just too much light. So now, at f2.8, you can see that the exposure looks a little better. There's more contrast. You can start to see the second video. The third one's just slightly starting to come in now. And you know, so the depth itself is actually becoming more in focus. Now we move on to f3.5, and you'll notice too that as the f-stop goes up, or the aperture closes down, you'll notice that the images are getting darker and darker. So anyway, with 3.5 you can actually start to see the third movie a little clearer, and then we move on to 5.6 and it starts to get real dark. However, after the third movie you can start to see the fourth movie, and you can see a bit more detail in the cushion behind everything. And then at f8 you can start to see, I mean, it's really dark. I'll brighten these up a little bit as well, so you can actually see the effect of the depth of field. But the fourth movie starting to come in a little bit better, and you can barely make out that last white movie. I'm not even sure what movie that is. And then at f11 you can pretty much make out, yeah, you can pretty much make out the very end there, and the cushion and everything's a little bit more in focus. There's a bit more detail there as well. So hopefully this helps, and as I said, I'll quickly just do a quick run through. I'll brighten these up as well, so you can actually see a bit better. But these are the direct effects of aperture. Now in regards to depth of field, I'll brighten these up, as I said, just so you can actually see the depth of field aspect of it. But just to keep in mind, whenever you're changing your aperture, you have to keep in mind that you're decreasing the light the higher the number goes up, right? Think of it as fractions. So you have a 1/8, you know, and then 1/11th, 1/5, pretty much. So think of it in fractions, and that's how much you're cutting down the light. Now, when you do change the aperture, you need to either change your shutter speed or you need to increase your ISO. But we'll get into that. That's all part of the exposure triangle. We'll get into that some other time. Anyway, yeah, I hope this helps. And if you have any questions, comments, leave them down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next video.